Recorded. Let me hit start. Ready?
Welcome to the Business Happy Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, the owner of Lincoln Lending Group right here in Tampa Bay for 23 years. Joined by his incredible co-host, KSENIA Akishina, realtor with Mahara and Associates, Tampa's top real estate company. Together, they have helped finance and close nearly $1 billion of real estate every year. If you're looking for local mortgage or real estate advice, the Business Happy Hour team has been right here on News Radio WFLA for over a decade. Listen right here or find us on the Business Happy Hour YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram at Frank the Bank Cotto. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious mortgage, real estate, and business talk with two of Tampa's top experts. Here's Frank the Bank and KSENIA.
Hey, Tampa Bay, welcome to the Business Happy Hour, your number one show for all things business and entrepreneurial. I am your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813mortgage.com. In studio with my amazing co-host, KSENIA Akishina from Mahara and Associates. We hope you had a happy new year and a great Christmas and holidays. How you doing, Sen?
Hi, happy new year and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yay. It was my first on-air birthday. Yay. How are you? Actually, it is. I don't think I've ever been on the air on my birthday before in 12 years.
Okay, look at that.
This is pretty neat. Yeah. So how was your holiday?
Oh, man. They're always exhausting.
Yeah. Well, I heard you got extra exhausted.
I did. I came down with something Christmas Eve, of course, of all days. So, you know.
So what happened Christmas morning? Did they let mommy sleep in a little bit?
No. We had, the Christmas at home. But you know what? Thank you so much for that recipe you gave me.
Did you use it for the steak?
I used it.
Oh, my gosh.
I got anchovy paste. I'm like, I've never used the anchovy paste for anything. But
how did it come out?
Yeah, I tried it out. It was good.
Yeah,
Very
did everybody
good
like
trick.
it? The little saltiness on the outside?
It was a good steak.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome.
I did my best with the grilling of it, but actually it came out. I used a thermometer.
Yeah.
Which I usually don't, but I mean, it was a nice, perfect medium rare,
Yes.
and it worked out. So thank you.
I love it. I hope some of our other listeners actually took to that and did the little recipe. I cooked one for my brother on New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve as well, and I'd never done it before. And he's texted me like 3 times since, and he's like, "Can you cook that steak again? Like, what did you do?" And I mean, did you do the whole tenderloin, or you just do individual?
I did. Yeah, I did the whole tenderloin.
Nice.
So I mean, I
Sliced
still
it.
had to look up some recipes. I'm like, all right, I remember kind of the basics you gave me.
Yeah.
Got the ingredients, and then use some internet help for how to actually
Yeah, how to finish it off.
Yep.
I love it. So what else? What'd you do for New Year's Eve?
Oh, well, New Year's Eve is huge in Russia, so that's kind of also like our Christmas. But no, we were just at home.
Yeah.
We did some at-home fireworks that could have ended up in more of a disaster. We kind of averted it, but with some, things sparking back at us.
Yes. Well, that's always the fun of at-home fireworks. I mean,
That was not too fun.
No.
No.
Did the mortars, or they blow up in your direction or something?
Something was wrong with them, so we went back to the place in exchange of one of the box ones.
Yeah.
Those were a lot better. You just put the box up, light a fuse, and then it does the stuff.
I think we call them the cakes, and those are the best. Those are the ones, the fun and not fun. They're better than it's a better show, but then you only have to light it one time, which is, I don't know, some gentlemen like to keep lighting them. It's the thrill of it.
Well, you're experienced.
Yeah.
My gentleman is not that experienced, so that made me even more nervous. But it was good,
No, it is a lot of fun. So speaking of disasters, I had a bit of a disaster on New Year's Eve myself.
I see that.
Can you guys see this? If you're not on this is a great reason. If you're not on Instagram or Facebook Live following the show, you should totally be watching the video right now, because it's not going to be as cool for you. But Frank the Bank is busted up in a sling right now. My left wing is officially out of commission. So we did a European trip for Christmas. We've never taken the kids across the pond. And if you guys follow me on social media, you got to see some of my reviews about, flying over there and taking that pod thing, which, oh my God, we joked around it before the show. If we didn't have that, I don't know what I would have done on the way back. But I'll start by saying I am not a professional skier. And I should not pretend to be a professional skier. And I will also say that my son Landon is way better at skiing than me or anybody I know. And I got to give props to this guy. So it kind of went like this. So we I'll tell you the whole vacation. Might as well tell you. It's a lot of fun. Have you been to London?
No, I haven't. And you know what? I requested my join if you want me to join you on our Instagram.
Oh my gosh, I didn't put you on. Oh my God, you're not even on Instagram. I'm totally out of it today.
I don't mind not being on it.
Oh no, Sen, you're in your New Year's outfit. We got to get you on Instagram. We do have a lot of exciting stuff. We're going to talk about how I broke my wing today on the show. Talk about our little vacation. Some New Year stuff. Also, we're going to talk about Venezuela because there is talk about waking up to a new world on New Year's Day. You know, you're like, I think it was New Year's Day. I was so out of it. But all this stuff with Venezuela, how is it affecting our markets? I have a very, very good friend who is from Venezuela and literally just moved back. About a week ago.
Oh, really?
Like literally moved back a week before.
Did they anticipate this happening then?
Well, she's been praying for this to happen, and we would have lunch every once in a while. She's also a real estate agent and an attorney in Venezuela, and her and I have been talking about how, they've been, their whole family, been, please God, Trump, do something happen. It's the only way we're going to get our country back. And I think she got her prayers answered, to be honest. But she gave me a whole write-up that I'm going to read today to everybody about. I said, listen, I'd like you to tell me what does a real Venezuelan want? What do you guys care about? What do you want? What do you think about all this? And she said some very interesting things. So this isn't an American's opinion. This isn't a news opinion. This is an opinion directly from someone not only from Venezuela, but who is actually living there right now. So that's going to be exciting. We'll talk about how that affects the market. But let's talk about vacations, a little fun first. So Happy New Year's to everybody. We are expecting this year to be a great year. Hopefully,
we are, yeah.
In rates and in the market and all that stuff. And don't forget, KSENIA is a real estate agent with Mahar & Associates, and I own Lincoln Lending Group. As much as we like to talk about fun, we do need to be able to pay for these health deductibles and these injuries and whatnot. So we took this trip. And our trip was going to be as follows: 2 nights in London, never been there before. 3 nights in Andorra, which is a tiny little country in between Spain and France, just for skiing. Basically, it's just a bunch of ski mountains. And then my wife's sister lives in Costa Brava, which is east of Barcelona on the coast, kind of east of Girona. So we then went to Girona, and then we stayed with them in Costa Brava, and then back and stayed the night in Barcelona before we flew out from London. So going to the skiing thing. So by the way, London, amazing. If you've never been to London, Sen, you've got to go. The whole family. When we left there after the 2 days, we're like, that was not enough time. London was amazing. Here's the way I equate London to everybody. You ever been to New York?
Yeah.
Okay. So New York, big bustling city, expensive, right? Yeah. Take New York, throw in some history, throw in nicer people with a classier dialect, all right, than New Yorkers. Sorry, New Yorkers. But then add about 39% to whatever you'd spend in New York.
30, what?
Because, now I knew it was going to be an expensive city. Everybody told me it's expensive like New York. I'm like, okay, I've dealt with New York, whatever. What I didn't deal with was the fact that the British pound is $1.35 to a US dollar. So you're already spending 35% more for every dollar you spend, okay? So every menu you look at that's $100 is $135. And then your credit card charges you for the conversion and the processing of the euro or whatever, which you're supposed to click euro, by the way, and it's a slightly cheaper. It's like another 4%. So
well, that's why when you get to the airport, you do the currency exchange, right?
Big mistake I made.
Out.
I did not take out enough cash when I got there because the lady's like, oh, no, everybody, they just use credit and all that. No, I should have done more exchange money. Anyway, to the pounds. But crazy expensive because of the exchange rate right now, but super nice. Everything there, beautiful. The people were nice. The food was great. We did English tea twice. Which, as a matter of fact, we're going to Oxford Exchange today for my birthday, and we're doing a tea at Oxford Exchange.
You really like the tea then in London?
I liked it. I bought some tea from Fordham and Mason. The store's been around since 1707. A department store since 1707. What's Macy's been around 20 years? So anyway, so that was really nice. London, couldn't tell you enough. We went to all the major,
What'd you eat? What was your favorite food?
Oh boy, it was the Sunday roast, which is like a tradition there. It's basically prime rib with this gravy you pour on top and this big old pastry thing and carrots and onions. It was kind of almost traditional to what we would have if we would have a Sunday roast. But that's a real popular thing. They go on Sunday, and a bunch of restaurants will do a roast. We went to a place called Hawksmoor Borough, which is known to be one of the best places for the roast, and even my kids licked their plate. It was so good. And I will throw this out there. I've never had, I've drank cucumber gimlets and stuff. Have you ever had a cucumber gimlet?
Yes, I love those.
Right. Have you ever had just a gimlet?
I think so, yeah.
I hadn't.
Oh.
I had never had just a gimlet. And so I told the guy at Hawksmoor, I said, give me a traditional London drink. I was like, whatever you guys are known for. He goes, a gimlet. So he makes me this gimlet. I'm not joking. It was probably the best drink I've ever drank in my life. I thought it was so good. So not that I'm trying to drink.
I think it with gin, right? The traditional
It's just gin.
Yeah.
Gin with some sort of citrus squeeze.
Right? Yeah, like a sour,
A sour
lime,
something, sour lime. But anyway, so that was great. Let's see, a minute left. So then we flew to Andorra. Here's my everybody thinking, oh, skiing in Europe. Oh man, that's expensive. No, skiing in Europe, I'm not even exaggerating. In Andorra specifically, was maybe a third of the price of going to Tahoe or Breckenridge or Vail or something like that. It cost my son. Well, we paid for 2 days, but it cost us. I want to say like $200 for equipment, lift tickets, and everything for 2 people for 2 days.
Yeah, so at least you did save some money as well.
Oh yeah. So here's my tip. If you go to Europe, you do London and then you go to Spain, right? And if you do half and half, you're going to even out to the price of a normal vacation. I remember going to the little stand-up bar in Andorra. We first got to the hotel. I got a cappuccino, 2 glasses of their most expensive wine, which was like €5, and a burger and some other like sandwich or something like that. €21.
Oh, I love places like that.
I couldn't believe it. Like I felt like I was ripping the people off. And then they don't want you to tip there. Like it's the weirdest thing in the world. But the people were so nice. Blew my mind. Not getting tipped. What great, service. So I still tried to tip them when I could, although I didn't have the right currency most of the time. But anyway, that's how we'll start the story. We got from London, great, terrible prices, great people. Andorra, great prices, great people as well. And then when we get back from the break, we're going to talk about how I decided to go face first down the tallest mountain in Andorra and not make it.
Can't wait.
So stay tuned to the Business Happy Hour for a broken wing story. All right, we're ready. And I'll let you just break in on this stuff as I talk. So I'll tell the story and then we can get to the fun stuff afterwards, I guess.
Okay. When did you get back?
Saturday evening.
Okay.
So I also figured out the best flying as well is red eye over there, day flight back. And I had no jet lag.
All the best mortgage or real estate advice from Tampa Bay's top experts. It's the Business Happy Hour with Frank the Bank Cotto and KSENIA Kishina.
All right, Tampa Bay, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour, your number one show for all things business and entrepreneurial. And don't forget, we do mortgages and real estate over here. It might be my birthday, and what I'm giving you today for my 47th birthday is some tips on what not to do on the ski slopes. We're going to talk about the interest rates, and KSENIA is going to sell you a house. We might do stats on this show too. KSENIA, did you even do stats for the first show of the year?
You know what? I pulled the November numbers came out, I think, on our last show. Yeah. So we just did the general ones. And sure, I can break them down for you.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute. So having a little fun. So I was telling you guys the whole vacation trip. So we get to Andorra. Again, beautiful, awesome. Relax the first night. Great food. The next morning we get up and go skiing. And, people think it's not really different. The slopes are very similar. They instead of having the green, blue, black, and then black diamond, they have green, blue, red, and then black. And they probably should have a little more designation on some of these things. So long story short, I'm skiing all day with my son. He is way better than me because he's a hockey player. But I never had problem being on the blues. You may be like a light black here or there. And there's a slope all the way at the top of the mountain. And it's super wide. I mean, when I say super wide, I mean, the thing looks like it's like 2 football fields wide, but it's all the way at the top. And my son went down and I'm like, what do you think? He goes, yeah, it was steep. He goes, but it's wide. So, you could probably do that one or whatever. And it's the end of the day, and I'm trying to keep up with the kid. And I'm like, daddy's going to do that one, right? I'm going up. And so I go up there with him and I get to the edge. And it's like you stand and you look over and the wind's whipping up over the top of the mountain. And I'm just like, oh, damn it. I had that feeling come over me where I'm like, I really shouldn't do this. But I had to ski down a slope a little bit, like probably 50, 100 yards to get to the edge to go down this one. So if I didn't go, I was going to have to take my equipment off and walk back up to the top, which, okay, hindsight would have been a way better idea. I did it. And I just tried to go back to my training to say, okay, just kind of go on your side of the sides of the skis. Here's the problem. It was too icy and the slope wasn't, even though it was like, I don't even know what the slope was, almost not straight down, but very, very sloped. It was curved to the left and I didn't judge for that. So when I got going and I cut back and forth, when I cut left across the slope, I couldn't cut back right. And I just went. And I went face first, shoulder first, down the mountain. When I hit, I mean, people say this. It's real. I heard it. Like it 100%. Craziest thing, it was not a super sharp pain. So what I did was I have a type 2 clavicle separation. So the clavicle didn't break. It's held to the shoulder bone with tendons and ligaments. And those just, we don't know how many of them pop. I'm going to see the ortho literally when I leave here today, but we don't know how many are actually broken or how many are stretched, but there's about an inch gap in between where it should not have any gap. And I heard it. And I started sliding down the mountain. I had a camera on, by the way, on my chest that my wife had bought me for Christmas to put my iPhone in. And that thing ripped off and like ripped down. So all you have is black and you can hear me going down. You know, I don't know how far I slid. I mean, the mountain was probably 9,000 feet. I don't know. I probably slid 1,000. I don't know. But I came to rest and I started wiggling around and I'm like, you hear me on the video. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I did something to my shoulder. I was like, you remember the movie Lethal Weapon with Mel Gibson? You might be too young for that.
I have seen him.
Well, Mel Gibson, he always would dislocate his shoulder. And he always just bang it on a wall and pop it back in. So I'm thinking, yeah, I just Mel Gibson this one. I'm just going to pop it back in when I get down to the doctor. And so my son, being the absolute badass he is, he picks up my skis and my poles from 500 whatever feet up, however high it was, and skis down to me, carrying him. He's like, you okay? I was like, I don't think so. So I was like, I can't ski down this. So I got on my side and started sliding. It was so steep, I couldn't control my slide. And I thought I was going to literally be a snowball and start going tumbling. Oh. So that was probably even scarier, is trying to get down this damn thing, like sliding. So I get all the way down to the blue run. And from there, it was just a blue all the way to the ski lodge. And he's like, you're either going to have to wait for that like snowmobile thing or whatever, or just try to do it. And I didn't have acute pain. Like I knew it was messed up. So I'm just thinking my shoulder is out of socket. This isn't that bad. So I picked up my poles. I strapped myself in. I bit my cheek and I just freaking went down the mountain. Now, thank God, if I had fallen, that would be guaranteed surgery because I would have ripped the rest of my shoulder out. But I made it. And I went into the ski thing, and I will say it's pretty cool. They took care of me in like 20 minutes. This Italian doctor brings me in there. I don't know why I had an Italian doctor in Spain, but anyway, I think he was Italian. But anyway, so he puts me on this like 50-year-old X-ray machine, X-rays my thing, comes back, sticks a shot in my butt, which burned like nothing I've ever felt in my life. And he goes, "Yep," shows me the X-ray. He's like, "You separated it." He goes, blah, blah, blah. He goes down to the pharmacy, pick up these drugs. Interesting in Andorra and probably other Spain, there's no like prescriptions. Like the doctor wrote on a piece of notebook paper what I needed to get. And I went and handed it to the pharmacist and she's like, yeah, this. She goes, you want anything stronger? You want this or this? Oh, nice. And I'm like, nah, I don't even know what he gave me. I can't even read the box. Right. So started taking the meds. It was anti-inflammatory and a painkiller and powered through the rest of the trip. So then that was New Year's Eve that night.
So did Landon watch like this whole thing?
Oh, like, Landon, he was videoing. He turned off the dang camera like 5 seconds before I ate crap. Or we would have had 2 angles of me going down. But he is such a badass. He took my stuff and he skied my equipment down this crazy freaking run by himself. I'm so proud of him. And then, had to help me out. And then the next day he was sick, which sucked, right? He came down with something, but we went up the mountain and he went all the way up by himself. And I was clocking him on the Life 360, hitting like 35 miles an hour coming down the mountain. I'm like, dude, don't hurt yourself. But anyway.
How did Nicole feel about this whole situation with you? I'm guessing she wasn't there at the bottom waiting for you.
No,
so
she was
back
at the lodge and I was like, don't even message your mother. I was like, just wait till we get into the infirmary or whatever. I got in there. Yeah, I mean, poor Nicole, she's been a saint as always and been helping me out with everything. And it's funny what you can't do. Like, thank God it was my left side. If it was my right, I'm right-handed, I would have been in so much more trouble. But the weirdest thing, like I can't wash the right side of my body because you can't reach it, The left side, you can't even lift your arm.
I'll say a lot of things are probably a little bit more difficult to do.
Yeah. She's like, you got to wear a belt. I was like, I don't know if I can get it back on if I wear one. So anyway, I did learn how to put on slip-on shoes and socks with one hand. So that's good. And today I'm going to a doctor. Anyway, that's probably enough about that story. The second half of the show, we're going to talk about Venezuela. We're going to talk about treatments for these clavicle things. And if you guys have any recommendations, if you've separated your clavicle, I'd love to hear from you. Text me directly, 813-765-1239. That's 813-765-1239. I'd love your advice on how to heal these things quickly because I just got a new set of golf clubs for Christmas that I'm just going to be looking at for the next month or two. Stay tuned to the Business Happy Hour with KSENIA Akishina, Frank the Bank with his busted wing, and we'll talk some Venezuela and rates when we come back.
Okay.
Yes, that was it. And then Costa
So
Brava.
this was mid-trip then?
This was literally, we left on the 26th, 27, 28, 29. Yeah, this was mid-trip. It was on the 31st, and then we came back. It was a little past mid-trip. Okay. So I really had one more day of skiing, and then we had 2 more days in Costa Brava.
I'm surprised you went skiing again the next day.
Oh, I mean, I just went up the mountain with Landon.
Oh, you just watched.
Make
sure he doesn't
God,
have
no, I did not get on a ski, not to save my life. No, but I just went. Actually, that was a lot of fun. Like, I've never chilled in the lodge. Like, every time, there'll be some parents will stay in the lodge and just hang out all day. Mm-hmm. I've always gone up the mountain and risked my damn life. Let's go.
Welcome to the Business Happy Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, the owner of Lincoln Lending Group right here in Tampa Bay for 23 years. Joined by his incredible co-host, KSENIA Akishina, realtor with Mahara & Associates, Tampa's top real estate company. Together, they have helped finance and close nearly $1 billion of real estate every year. If you're looking for local mortgage or real estate advice, the Business Happy Hour team has been right here on News Radio WFLA for over a decade. Listen right here or find us on the Business Happy Hour YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram at Frank the Bank Cotto. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious mortgage, real estate, and business talk with 2 of Tampa's top experts. Here's Frank the Bank and KSENIA.
It's your birthday, happy birthday, lots of happiness, good luck too.
Thank you, James. A little happy birthday from my family here at iHeartRadio. Been with you guys for like 12 years. Thank you so much for that. So anyway, finishing up the story here. Great vacation. Yes, I did power through it. Went to Costa Brava, but I do have to give a major shout out to Virgin Atlantic. You talked about it. You guys flew Delta One when you took a long trip recently. And is that not completely worth it to have those lay down beds and those pod things when you fly?
Oh, absolutely. If I could do it every trip, I'd do that. But yes, for the long ones, I think it's a must.
Yeah, I would recommend people fly the cheapest economy you can when you're flying domestically and save your friggin' money. And when it comes time to go international or go on anything, maybe over 7 hours or something, get those pods. And the people treated us so nice. They were so accommodating, tried to help me, with my arm and whatever I needed. And everybody was like, oh my God, how was the flight? I'll be honest, I was comfortable. Like, I could have slept the whole flight. It was absolutely, amazing. So I did a little review. The one thing that I was disappointed on with Virgin Atlantic is their selection of movies and TV shows was horrendous. Like, I couldn't even find anything that I would spend 2 hours watching. But they do give you high tea in the air. And do you like tea?
I love tea.
Dude, is tea a Russian thing or not?
Yes, definitely.
It is. Okay, more so than coffee?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I fell in love with it. I love the tea, the English tea, and I bought a little thing, a little mug and and I'm going to get a little teapot, and so anyway, like I said, I'm going for lunch for some tea to Oxford Exchange, the only place I know of in Tampa you can do that. And by the way, Nicole heard us talking about going to the Russian restaurant, and we're totally down.
Okay.
What was the name of it?
Babushkas.
Babushkas, right? So we're totally going to do the Russian restaurant with KSENIA. So KSENIA, I mean, how about we'll talk about the market for a minute, and then we can kind of talk about Venezuela and how does it affect. But I mean, in the last week, was there really any activity? Everybody was kind of.
You know what? Actually, yes.
Really? Tell me.
I feel like things are waking up. So after Christmas, and lots of sellers that I've been talking to for a few months. That it was their plan to kind of wait till the new year. But yes, activity is picking up. So yeah, my November stats aren't too exciting. November in general usually isn't all that exciting.
Right.
But I think things are.
So you
there's
had
definitely
some activity.
movement.
Good. So those people that said I'm waiting to the new year, like they got on it, huh?
Well, they're prepping.
They're prepping.
You know, they're prepping for making some moves in the new year.
This is awesome. This is great to hear. So I track, and you got to remind me on this. Every week when we do stats, I have a stat that we pull on Monday where we do applications, pre-approvals, clear to close loans, and closed loans. And I think one of the best gauges would be pre-approvals. Like how many pre-approvals
yes,
go
why don't
out.
we do that?
We should totally be
there you go.
comparing
That should be
this.
part of stats. I do mine, you do yours.
That'd be great, and we'll kind of compare them, and you can see you're going to tell us from like the closed side, and I'll tell you kind of like the starting side. But I think it's a good gauge, and I'll say 2 weeks ago it was what I expected. It was Christmas week. It was like 9 pre-approvals or like 8 pre-approvals in the whole week for 40 people, right? So not a lot. This last week, the one you're talking about, like the Christmas New Year's one, it was like 14. Right.
Okay.
So it's still less than half, but it was activity. So that's good. Speaking of activity, I mean, obviously you saw what happened in Venezuela. What's your thought on that?
I mean, I don't follow that stuff too much, but yes, it's I mean, to me it sounds a bit crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it to say how I feel one way or another. I mean, it seems like it's a good thing.
But
I guess our opinions mixed on that though.
Yeah, they are. And what I found interesting, and I'll start by, I'll read something, we'll talk about something on a real Venezuelan opinion, because I think that's kind of the thing right now is we're sitting over here on our comfy couches in America, right, not dealing with this stuff and not really being impacted by it. And so we have our opinions, and our opinions are, really worthless if you think about it, because, now I'm going to talk about how our opinions affect the real estate market and rates. We will get into that. But just in people in general, I like to go to the actual Venezuelans.
I love that you have that, because that's key. And a lot of times you hear the stuff on the news.
Yeah.
But yes, when you talk to someone actually affected by it, someone that lives there, I think that's.
Yeah, it gives you a different perspective.
Absolutely.
Just like you, I'm sure, can have a totally different perspective on Putin and what's going on over there. You're like, what do you think of that guy? Right? Whole nother show. But let me. I have a good friend, Maria Leaks. She's a real estate agent here in the United States, and her family, they are from Venezuela. Kids born in Venezuela. Her husband has a big sugar company over there. They were very successful until the Chavez and Maduro regimes came in and basically, took over their businesses, is the way I understand it, changed their currency, valuations, all these crazy things. So her and I have been talking a lot, actually, before she went back to Venezuela, which she went back just about a week and a half ago. She was praying for some sort of change, but they didn't believe it was going to happen, right? She's like, I just don't think this is actually going to occur. And I said, listen, I remember what I told her in our last lunch. I said, the one thing I can tell you about Donald Trump is love the man or hate him. He usually does what he says. And we usually don't know when he's going to do it, but he usually does it. Well, talk about holding to your word on that. I asked her, though. I said, I want to know from your specific opinion, you're living over there right now, what do the real Venezuelans want? What is the truth? Not what our media is telling us. And I'm going to read you exactly what she wrote. A real Venezuelan wants all the regimes to be out of power. Delcy and his brother, George Rodriguez. He is the president of the Congress. They belong to, let's say, the wing of Chavismo, Madurism. They grew up with the resentment because his dad was killed in the 70s because he kidnapped and killed an American director of the Owens, Illinois company. Due to that resentment, I don't believe they will do any good for the country. It will be the same crap. Okay, for a transition. A transition is okay, like after any presidential election, the new president doesn't take over the following day. There will be a transition. The other head/wing, which is more evil than Hitler, is Diosdado Sabello. He is the president of the Chavista Party, Partido Social Unido de Venezuela, and Minister of the Interior and Justice. We believe he hates Delcy's wing and will sabotage her government. He is very arrogant. Will probably be more cautious now that he knows that Maduro was really taken. Venezuela will never progress with them in power because nobody trusts them. The economy system will never be trustworthy with them in power. Think of it like this. A pear tree will never give apples. I like what she said there. That resonated, right? A pear tree will never give apples. They are all evil. They need to be taken down too. People are overall happy here, but they don't dare. This is interesting. They don't dare to celebrate in public because they have their followers still in the government and they will chase people due to political reasons. I said, well, what do you mean by that? Because I'm seeing this on TV that there's celebrations. He said it is very localized. Yesterday, people were being pulled over randomly to check their cell phones to see what they have in WhatsApp and on social media. If they were found to have any sign of supporting the U.S. intervention, they are immediately detained. Right now, this is happening. Venezuelans want Edmundo Gonzalez and Maria Corina in power. So I said, so the government of Maduro is technically still in control, even though he was taken. It seems that they cut the head off of the snake, but the snake is still crawling. She said, it is like the power has 3 snakes. One has been cut off. Yes, they have the high-rank military support still, some of them not fully convinced, but they support because of fear. They are in fear for their lives and their families' lives if they turn against them. They are still in control at the moment. Trump does not seem to want to bring MCM yet because Libya and Iraq experiences. So that is from an actual Venezuelan.
Question.
Yeah.
So you said she is there now, or she came back to the States a week ago?
She is that she went back.
And she's not
a week
afraid
ago.
to even, because I know, with the Putin stuff and when things go down, like a lot of,
they search for
Russian
this and they can find
they
this.
get scared, because any kind of being outside. I mean, even still, like, Facebook, there's no Facebook. They have to really find channels to, communicate. But
I'm scared for her.
And you said her name and everything.
I know.
So.
Well, I didn't say the last name, did I? Hopefully. But I probably shouldn't have even said that. But it is. I won't say where she is. But long story short, yeah, they're explaining that there is a kind of 3 heads to this snake, and one's been cut off, but the other ones are still somewhat in power because people are scared. But the overall sentiment is, yes, they want this. They need this. And, it kind of makes me sick to see people in America question this. Now, were our tactics perfect and whatnot? I don't like meddling in other countries' business, but these people, they had their country stolen from them and everything taken from them. I mean, her and her husband were very successful, and they had to leave a lot of that. And hopefully, they'll be able to get their businesses back. So anyway, kind of scary. Any other thoughts on that for the last minute? If not, we'll talk about
I'm
Rachel
glad some people are brave enough to take actions like that, because I do think that's what's needed. I don't know how else things would change. Right.
It needs some sort of catalyst, and it's scary because they couldn't have done it without somebody intervening.
Sure.
And I think the angle that the U.S. used, it kind of seems pretty legitimate. It really wasn't an act of war. It was the DEA. They had him indicted for drugs, wink, wink, right? And so they went and took him for the indictment for the charges and whatnot. So, they did use the military to make it happen, clearly. But I don't know. I think we have to look at the greater good. And hopefully this will be a good thing, and we can bring peace and prosperity back to a beautiful country.
Yes, I pray to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to talk real estate for a few minutes. We're going to talk about how does uncertainty in the market affect you in America with your real estate needs. Stay tuned to the Business Happy Hour.
Okay, so quick break. So, I guess my question would be, so where we can do that, even though it's in another country, for us to have our DEA?
I don't. Well, okay. So what I read yesterday was that if it was what was his name, the Colombian drug lord, like they wanted to try to extradite him. So they were trying to get the country of Colombia to extradite him on charges of drug trafficking, international drug trafficking. But because he controlled so much of the government there, they couldn't. Well, Maduro was the government, so they could never extradite him. So they offered him, and this is kind of the crazy thing. You heard that they offered him, like he could have left to Turkey. Like 2 weeks ago, Trump said, just go, right? And then at that point, I think he turned into turn yourself in, but then he started mocking him and stuff like that on TV, and that's...
So Venezuela, though, but that is one of the countries that has the extradition laws that you can't.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But the bottom line is that the president's not going to extradite himself to turn himself in.
Yeah.
Right. So I think, legal or not.
I do hope for all the best. You know, that's tough for the
How
people
we
living
did it,
there.
Yeah, but it's done now. So let's do it, James.
Let's get back to the Business Happy Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group, and his co-host, KSENIA Akishina, realtor with Mahara and Associates.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. It's our last segment. We promise we're going to talk about how this Venezuelan thing can actually be a benefit for you guys in America for your interest rates and your mortgages and whatnot. But before that, I just do want to announce that I think we're going to try to have this happen next week. We may have Dr. Deturi from the hyperbaric chamber business. I can't remember his hyperbaric, the name of his company yet off the top of my head, but he's over at, still I believe is at USF.
I've been hearing those commercials. I think of him. Yeah.
Yes. And he is like the foremost hyperbaric expert, one of the foremost in America. He's like the biggest in the Southeast. And I was texting with him yesterday about my injury. And I said, what do you think about us doing some segments on, I'll do some hyperbaric treatments with you and we'll have you on the show and we'll kind of talk about it and show people the progress and how this can help them. And he loved the idea. So good chance next week we're going to have Dr. Deturi on the show, whether it's live.
I like him.
He was a great guy. And then you guys are going to get to follow my journey. I'm going to try to do that PRP, plasma replacement, and also going to try out the peptides and hyperbaric. So Frank the Bank is throwing a nuclear bomb at this shoulder, and hopefully it works well, and I can see you guys without a sling here in just a few weeks. So Sen, this whole thing about Venezuela, it creates turmoil, like uncertainty in the global stage creates uncertainty in our markets.
Sure.
And what would you think it would do? I guess pretend you're not a real estate agent.
Listen, and this is when the Ukrainian war started.
Right.
That definitely, like, to me, that was my first thought. Shoot, you know what I mean? It is definitely, we're a global market now, you know? So things that happen in other countries, they do have an effect on us. But what do you think? How is that going to affect things here?
I think it's going to have a very positive temporary effect and very similar to Ukraine. And any time there is something going on the other side, or really we think about other side, Venezuela is like a 2-hour flight from here, a 3-hour flight. Anytime you have this uncertainty, it creates uncertainty in our markets, and our markets don't like uncertainty. So it will prevent, one thing will happen, it'll prevent rates from going up, because it's hard pressed to raise rates when you're like, oh my gosh, are we on the brink of war, right? You can't raise rates when we're on the brink of war. A lot of times it does the exact opposite. So I'm encouraging people right now to look at this, and I haven't checked rates as of this morning, but normally, when any of this happens, and it happened with Ukraine, it happened with Iraq, it happened with 9/11, it happened with, any type of event like that, it drops rates. So
but I feel like when the Ukrainian thing started, which was like February, and then that summer is when
they went up.
I mean, not that was the only thing. I mean, there was a lot of things contributing to that, but yeah, that's when rates did go up.
The reason I say temporary is because right now is the uncertainty period. Like you and I are talking about it on the radio saying, what's going to happen? And you brought up a great question. Did we do this the right way? Was this okay? Well, there's some uncertainty there, right? What's the result going to be? Are we going to go to war? There's the uncertainty there, right? This is kind of a magic bucket time. Like you probably have a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, to take advantage of the dip in the market because the market doesn't like what's happening right now. But as soon as things, let's say, resolve, or we see some progress one way or the other, we will have the exact opposite effect. And that kind of happened with Ukraine as well. Not that things are resolved in Ukraine by any means, but it calmed down, and I think, people get used to it and whatnot. Does that make sense?
Unfortunately, but yes.
Unfortunately. Yeah, very, very much unfortunately. And I don't think we've heard the last of the Ukraine thing. It sounds like we had a lot of progress on that actually over the holidays as well. So hopefully something happens there because that's a sad story as well. Do you have friends over there?
I have a lot of family there, actually. Yeah, we just got news that my uncle's young nephew, 25, just got killed.
Oh.
He was at the war. My uncle's actually been missing for a couple of months.
Oh, no.
So he was in the war, too, and, they can't so far find his remains, which we're assuming something happened. And
oh, no.
So... yeah, unfortunately, we didn't want him going to the war, but I mean, that's what they
you were forced
chose
into
to do,
it.
and
yeah.
Yeah.
And let's hope that there's not a war over in Venezuela.
Yes.
I'm hoping. We're hoping the best for the people. But selfishly, talking about you in the United States right now, luckily you don't have the war going on here, but you do need to think about how that impacts you. And there are times that these things can be a benefit to you. Long term, it would be nice to see the rates come down. There was I don't know if you saw over the holidays, there was talk. I saw actually on the BBC that there was some talk about Trump getting rid of property taxes on a national level. Did you see that?
On a national level.
National level. Now it's chatter but he did say it, that he believes that we should not be paying taxes to own our properties, that the government doesn't own our properties, so why are we paying taxes on them? I found that very interesting. Now we
How about
know
DeSantis like that? Because I know here this has been talk pretty much all of 2025, and I'm hoping, even if they're not completely abolished, that there would be some relief, because I think that would help.
I think so.
Most of us.
These are all just little things that will lead to what you and I believe could be one of the strongest real estate markets we see in our lifetime, coming up here over the next year or two. But yeah, they talked about national property taxes. Obviously, DeSantis is going to be on the bill later this year, on the ballot, later this year for property taxes. So that could be good. And then, there's still the 50-year mortgage talk. If that happens, there's a lot of ifs out there. And, it's kind of like we have a lot of bets on the table. Right? We just need a couple of them to come in.
Exactly. I was just thinking we need a couple of them to come in because, yes, we need some stimulation.
Yeah, we do. And then on the other flip side, guys, by the way, you've been waiting since 2023 to list your houses. It's 2026, guys. When are you going to list your house, right?
They're going to be listing.
They're going to be listing.
So you know what? I think that's going to be a good thing all around, because buyers do still need more options. We talk about, our inventory levels and supply in general. I think the more options they have, buyers will get more excited. Yeah. It'll help them get off the fence even better.
I agree.
Hopefully rates, if they keep that. What's your opinion on rates? Where are we at here?
I'm going to have to defer to next week. I'd be honest, I was laid up yesterday and I didn't look at rates this morning, but I did see the bond markets were in the right direction because of what we were talking about in Venezuela. So I know that's showing rates coming down. So my advice is you probably got a week or two of some probably strong rates. You could probably see them go up a little bit as these things change. But my big prediction is it's going to be the strongest spring we've ever seen. So
awesome. Yes.
Do you feel the same way?
I do.
Yeah. So with that said, it's been a great show, Sen. I'm glad you came back in one piece. You didn't have to use the cough button today.
I know.
So
I'm trying. I took some cough drops and happy birthday.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks for coming in on your birthday and doing the show. Nice to see you. But yeah, I'm excited for a great year.
Yeah, me too, guys. So from all of us at the Business Happy Hour to all of you, I hope you're having a great start to your new year. And next week, hopefully we'll have an exciting show, maybe talk some hyperbarics, but we're definitely going to be talking about the market. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
All right, let me get you a title and stuff real quick.